we trust. No frills, no filter. Only real talk, see? Just give me a mic. Check 1, 2, 3. What's up? You know what we talking? We ain't playing over here in LFG. Haters gonna say, we from LFG, boy. We take you to the moon.
Hello and welcome.
Hey, hello and welcome.
Yep, she got it. Yet another episode of Mission Control. Today is episode 10, and today Anita and I got a special guest, the man, the myth, the legend. Jason, how are you doing?
Exhausted. I'm absolutely exhausted, but I'm here for it. And I'm not a myth or a legend. I am a man. I'll give you that one. It's 1 out of 3 is not bad.
Listen, I'm here for the gravitas. I'm here to make things sound cool.
Correct. Now, before you guys do anything else, do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because we're out here showing you guys some love. So the least you can do is show us some love too.
Yep, that's it. And just one more thing, just wanted to remind everyone about the streaming schedule because we are here every other Tuesday for Mission Control and every other Tuesday and every Friday for LFG Game On. Last episode was particularly exciting because we got to check out Down Deep, we got to play with Even Wave, we got to see some all-time high scores for the brand new game. And honestly, in the 2 hours, I've had a great experience. We played a whole bunch of them. If you're interested, check out the previous LFG Game On and their platform.
Cool.
All right, Jason, what do you got for us? I saw you talking about the self-service update for the Note platform earlier today.
Yeah, no, I was just in the Discord talking about that a little bit. So there's a few things that I'm gonna sort of cover really quick. The first is that as the LFG platform grows, okay. Actually, you know what? I'm going to back up a little bit. I think people will misunderstand what exactly it is that the LFG platform does. The LFG platform is a platform that allows us to essentially deploy node sales for other people. Those projects come to us. They say, "Hey, we're very interested in doing something like this." And we help them in a variety of ways, from advising and consulting on their tokenomics to helping them actually deploy the sale and with their sales strategy and all of that. We don't build these projects; we just help them deploy their sale essentially. Now, in the future, pretty soon. I don't have exact date on this yet, but pretty soon we're going to be pushing essentially a change to the platform that allows people to come and deploy their own sale in basically on their own without working with us at all. They can just come to the platform. There is a burn where they will be burning some tokens to gain access to the platform, and then they'll be able to deploy their own sale and have people come and mint NFTs and set up their own pricing tiers and customize things however they see fit. That will make the platform easier for projects to come and use, and then also has a consumptive use for a token. Right now we're looking at a couple different tokens as options there, Gala being one of them. But we haven't fully locked down on exactly what that's going to be just yet. So that's something that you're going to see coming before too terribly long, and I'm pretty stoked about that. The other thing that I wanted to flag here really quick is that I'm going to be at Consensus in Hong Kong next week. I'm going to be putting together a little bit of hopefully a community event on one of the days. I have something like 30 meetings already stood up, so it's going to be pretty tight. But going there, meeting with a lot of different people in my capacity as CEO of Datagram, and also connecting with the broader community. For those of you guys who don't know what Datagram is, the best way to describe Datagram is to deepen what Ethereum is to token launches or Solana is to meme coins. We aspire to essentially be the DPIN foundation for the entirety of Web3. So if you have a DPIN project that depends on any sort of distributed compute, any sort of distributed storage, anything like that, you can use Datagram and the Datagram substrate to build out your own DPIN network. Right now, we've got about 2 million users who have come through the Datagram platform and who are using a decentralized backend, and they have no idea that they're using Web3 infra. It's really, really, really cool. And I highly recommend you check it out at demo.datagram.network because there's a lot of cool stuff there that you can play with. The first use case that we built out for it is a real-time video conferencing via UDP. So it's anytime you try this, if you actually initiate a call at demo.datagram.network, it's going across a node network. So that's a super cool thing. I've always wanted to have nodes that do stuff, and with Datagram they do. What other questions do you guys have? I know it's been a really long time since I've been on here because typically this is a couple hours earlier and it's like 5 in the morning, and I just since I've moved, it's a little difficult to get on at some of those times without waking little kids up and things like that. And I'm actually not at home today, which is why I can do this right now. But what other questions do you guys have? Is there anything popping up in the chat or anything that people may want to know about? I'm here for it.
So the chat is a little quiet because we did launch an hour later. What time is it for you guys? Isn't it like what, 5, 6 in the morning?
Right now it's 7.
7. Almost had it. I know people wanted to hear more about Aegis nodes, and if you have anything you could share right now.
So okay. I think there's a little bit of a misconception when we talk about Aegis nodes. Aegis nodes are set up essentially. That is an example in that paper. It doesn't necessarily mean that those will be, deployed as part of the LFG network. It's more of a if you have a node network and you're basing governance on it, then you could do it this way, and it's just part of the entire Aegis governance system, which there are multiple projects now that are beginning to build into, which I think is really cool because the entire idea is to create a much more robust governance structure. And that's what we've got the entire Aegis governance model for. It's being used by Datagram. It's going to be used by Helix, which you guys probably haven't heard about yet. I can't go into that too terribly much, but you're going to hear about that soon. So that's what the Aegis governance network is.
Okay. Here you got it, folks. More information coming up in the future. Now, if you guys have any questions, make sure to send them over because it is terribly early for Jason. I saw him in Discord chatting
it's not terribly early. I just didn't sleep at all last night. It was. I had meetings literally every 90 minutes all night long. So I would have like a 20-minute half-hour meeting, and then I'd lay down for like 20 minutes, and then I'd twitch myself back awake and have my next meeting. And so that's kind of where I am right now.
Yeah,
that's quite an intense schedule. So we're really happy that you're able to come on and say hi to everyone because we all missed you.
I miss everybody too. I'm happy to be here. There's I can't wait to finally get my my studio set up, configured, and all of that. I've got all of the pieces. I just need to figure out how to mount everything. My office is not as nice for that as my previous one was.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how much goes into a setup like that because I've been fighting this godforsaken green screen for the past 6 months and it's not getting better.
I'm actually skipping the entire green screen concept.
Oh, I would love to.
So I think I'm going to actually just go with like a crap behind me, the one plastic plant streamer setup.
A
you
bunch
know,
of lights and
get some
LEDs.
sort of sign on the wall or something like that.
Yep.
Whatever works, right? Whatever works.
It seems like the natural play. Feels like everyone's pivoting to that. And I was saving this next bit for our new news around Web3 segment that's coming out down later the road. But I but Uniswap launched their own L2, and the essentially the idea is to make sure that their L2 is good at one thing, because they believe that there will be a plenty of chains with a lot of different focuses where the finance is only going to be one of them. I just wanted to hear your take, whether you see it as the future with a lot of different chains and interoperability, or something like uh, something closer to what I personally imagined like a year ago, where Ethereum would develop into something more and more, as opposed to just getting more and more chains on top of it.
I think that it's going to be interesting to see as this entire thing unfolds. I think that you are going to see more and more chains, but that's only because this is sort of like the natural outgrowth of Ethereum not being able to handle all of the stuff people want to put on it. People have a tendency to stand up their own little EVM chain for their own little area, and I think that to a certain extent that's natural. I would look at, oh man, this is going to piss some people off. I would look at a blockchain in this case, for most people as almost just being a database. And every company has their own database that they need to access, that they're deploying information on. And the difference here is that these databases are being decentralized and with an incentivization structure to keep people running them. With all of your validators and all of your nodes and things like that. So I think that you're going to see more small chains performing little niche roles in the future, and less of an emphasis on sort of the big chains. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
I
a
see.
little bit of my hot take there.
I mean, I'm here for the hot takes. It wouldn't be as fun without people saying the same thing they read on what's the hottest place right now?
Well,
X.
here's another hot take. If you want a hot take, let's talk a little bit about the potential that Bitcoin could be 51% attacked. Like, no, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it because this is something that I was thinking about the other day, because with the United States, putting in a Bitcoin reserve, right? That's an idea that people are kicking around right now. With some of the states saying, okay, we're going to invest in Bitcoin. Suddenly you have a store of value, okay, that Bitcoin is. And Bitcoin's awesome. This is not a criticism of Bitcoin. This is simply a sort of reminder to people that Bitcoin right now, roughly 44% of all hash power on Bitcoin is in either China, Russia, or Kazakhstan. So that only means that you have 6%, of a delta between, sort of the rest of the planet and, those three who it's not completely insane to think that they might find a way to work together on something where, the governments of these nations coerce independent miners to, put their own hash power to a specific goal. And, other miners get knocked offline via DDoS or, some sort of issue with their ISP or something like that. And then suddenly, you have a different group that is now in control of the chain. And even just introducing a single double spend or something like that would fundamentally shake confidence in Bitcoin as an asset, and that would be when nation states are involved, a valid tool of economic warfare. And I think that that's a thing that as people put an emphasis on adding things like Bitcoin to strategic reserves, that's a thing that could potentially happen.
It's very fascinating how quickly we're getting into like the bad part of like the cyberpunky universe type of thing.
Yeah, no, we're going pretty hard, man. We're going pretty hard as a sort of as an industry and as a culture. Where we've gone from freaking oh man, what was that? What was that cyberpunk? That cyberpunk like role playing game, Shadowrun.
Uh-huh.
We've gone from like Lord of the Rings, like hobbits going on an adventure to Shadowrun and like freaking nothing flat. With brain implants and you know AGI and digital
Man-made
asset
players.
reserves and
Yeah.
it's pretty wild. Drones, drone warfare, which is anyone who's paying attention to that is an entirely crazy freaking event. It's wild, man.
Yeah, something about us overlooking like a decade of movies where strapping guns to robots went terribly wrong and just doing it anyway. But I mean, at least we're on the right trajectory to eventually get to like Jurassic Park type of thing, and I'd be down with that. I love more
Jurassic Park.
dinosaurs.
I
Love
mean,
to see
Jurassic
that.
Jurassic Park, yeah, that ended great. That was fantastic for everybody.
Yeah, just let the dinosaurs out. They'll be all right.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be fine. It's cool.
All right. I see Even Wave asking about Quotient. If you can tell us anything about it, anything about what's going on.
About Quotient.
Yep.
Oh shit, that is a deep cut there. So Quotient is a project that was a rebrand of. Okay, backing up a little bit, one of the things that I've always tried to do in the space is to sort of fix broken shit. There's often been things that have been abandoned or created or that were sort of done incorrectly, and I've always tried to sort of fix some of that stuff. And back in 2018, I think it's 2018, I was looking at old Bitcoin talk threads, looking for a project that could essentially be rebooted as a community takeover. Essentially, this is like before meme coins were really a thing, and we were trying to do like a CTO of a project to give it some utility and sort of rescue it. And so we found this project that was a high staking masternode coin called Volcano. And it was a disaster. Like the actual project was just totally freaking broken because the guy had built it. It was a fork of a fork of a fork of Bitcoin. And it was essentially a super, like he had increased the emission rate. So the emission rate was supposed to be 950% of tokens. So you stake 100 tokens, you get 950 tokens over the course of a year was what he was tried to do. And then after having done that math, he decreased the block time from like 20 minutes to like 30 seconds, but without accounting for that in the emission rate. So the actual emission rate on chain was something like 246,000%. And so people were staking and they were getting all these crazy coins, and they're just like, oh, this is great, because they thought that they were just winning the stake every time. But the entire thing was like fundamentally completely screwed. And so me and a buddy of mine came in and we kind of took the thing over and we worked to rebrand it. We relaunched the Volcano and then fixed its issue, and fixed the issues with the emissions rate, but it still had a crap brand. And so what we did, because it was volcano spelled incorrectly, and the idea was like, ooh, it makes tokens explode all over the place. It was just really stupid. It was really bad, man. It was like so bad. And so what we did is we looked at this and we're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and try to, do this with, we'll rename it. And what we ended up doing is we renamed it Quotient. And Quotient is something we pushed forward for quite a while, but we didn't have any funding, and it was just like purely bootstrappy. Self-funded ourselves. We had a dev that very badly cheated us because it was a whole problem. Anyway, it was kind of funny. That was how I met Chair Bandit, by the way. He actually worked for this crappy, awful dev. And that dude cheated both of us, which was not great. And so the project ended up kind of being idled. Last year, I started sort of bringing it out of mothballs and putting a team around it. And the use case that we've been pushing forward on is this idea that we had for the project, which is essentially using it as a logistics and a deal making platform. So I've had a group of devs that have been working on this and building out the logistics and deal flow platform pipeline, and eventually not entirely sure on the timeline because it's not quite there yet, and I still haven't gone out and tried to find any funding for it or anything like that, but we're trying to get it to the point where it's actually done before we, at least at a MVP level, before we go look for additional funding. But that's eventually going to be something that comes back out.
Okay, I see.
Sounds interesting. Well,
I'm
can't
just
wait to
trying
learn more. And we hope to hear great things coming in the future for it, because that's the goal, right?
It'll be interesting. I mean, it was one of those things that, I anytime I try to do something, I want to make sure that eventually that thing is done. It may not happen immediately. It may not happen on the timeline that I want it to happen on, but I want it to happen eventually. And so, that's one of those things that's important to me.
Mhm. Oh, so there, folks. That's something for us to all look forward to in the future. Quotient. More shit, more cool shit.
More shit, better shit, cooler shit.
Correct.
All right. I think this is about the time we'll let Jason go because I
Mhm.
think he needs a little more sleep than like
Poor man needs rest. You
power
are correct.
nappy 20-hour segments.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you guys soon.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
All right, now for fun project update. Fun project
Oh, hang on,
update.
Anita. I think we're picking up the wrong mic for you. It's a little low.
Is it really that bad?
Paul, how's it coming through to you? Okay.
Okay, because yes, I was a little quiet earlier because I don't want to cut off Jason. So I felt really bad. Like I can see my little sound bar moving, and I was like, if he's saying something important, I don't want to cut him off. So
It is a little weird, like in the video calls when someone's talking and like you're trying to reinforce the point or like add something to it, and it just doesn't come through the same way.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not at my usual setup as well. So I'm using my poor little camera on my phone. So it's also my mic. My headphones were pretty shitty earlier too. So I'm very sorry, you guys, if you guys couldn't hear half the shit I was trying to say earlier.
It wasn't that bad. We just wanted to make sure it wasn't anything overarching, if you will.
Mhm.
All right.
Well,
So, what do you have for us about Metaflora?
you know what? I am so excited for Metaflora. All right, so let's take a look. Do we have something to throw up for everyone, Paul? Awesome. All right, so you guys, Metaflora's partnership with the Deep Network is actually coming in hot with a limited bundle. And so there's only 50 of these available as of now, and the bundle itself contains the legacy connoisseur node and the deep node, Look at that bundle, you guys. Okay, so dedicated hosting hardware and software. If you ever find yourself in the niche between complete self-hosting and wanting to host with a provider, okay, so these devices come with a set of goodies like the ability to earn deep token and the further ecosystem support for hosting other people's nodes with the added benefits. Okay, like how cool is that? Like they're already doing so much cool shit. If you don't know what they're doing, get on their site. Okay, I'm pretty sure all of the links are in our description box below. They also have a podcast going on. Okay, like just get in there, get knowledgeable with metaflora stuff because there's so much happening. They have, oh my god, I don't even know where to begin. Seriously, you guys, they have a great project, and it's one of the ones I'm very excited about. There's so much information that they're going to bring to the world about their project. It's not just about weed, okay? But look into it, Metaflora. You guys are fucking awesome. I can't wait for everything to pull through. And I'm really sorry, Gingerbread Man, if you haven't announced it yet, but I'm super excited to say that their merch is also ready to go. So get there, get their shirts, get their mugs, get their beanies. Oh my God, it is so cute. And make sure you take a look at these note bundles itself, okay? Get there, take a look at their shit. They're hella cool people. Go support.
Anytime I have a conversation with Greg or anyone from the team, it's like my knowledge deepens on the subject, and it's still crazy how much is going on and how little the general public knows about it. But if you are
Right?
interested in all the things cannabis, about the benefits, about the medicinal side, about the recreational side, about how things are handled, how they should not be handled, etc., do
Mm-hmm.
check out Beyond the Haze. That is their podcast. They had some great guests on there. I think I've listened through the first three or so, but it's a casual conversation about the things people do not typically like to talk about, and those conversations are typically the ones you want to hear.
It's information packed, you guys. So make sure you give it a listen if you're ever curious. These guys are super knowledgeable. They know what they're talking about. So get in there, listen to their shit.
That's it. All right, next up we got a Valley ecosystem. So, as all of you might already know, Valley had launched a dedicated arcade website where you can just log in using your Discord and start playing all of their games that are available right now. Currently, there are 7. You can see them on the screen. And out of 7, 4 are completely playable. With Even Wave and me last Tuesday, exactly 7 days ago, we played Down Deep, and we played Flutter, and we played man, I can't keep the name straight. And we played the space pong game. And on top of that, this last Sunday, February 9th, they launched another game. The game is called Memory Match. It's fairly simple. You just need to match the figures and shapes. And to see just how many you can match within the time limit, I got to 84. See if you can do better than that. And we've already sort of touched on Down Deep and everything that's going on around it. But there was a very juicy leak last week that they don't want to drag out in the open, if you will, because
Oh, come on.
we
You
haven't
always
heard
have
the
to
big
get those
announcement
leaks.
just
Get
yet.
those leaks. We are for the people.
I mean, it's in there. It exists. I just don't want to talk about it because I haven't had a chance to poke even the wave to see whether or not I can talk about it in the first place, anywhere outside of the place we talked about it already. But it is exciting. It's about all the new things. It's about the people you already know, you already like, doing the coolest thing ever. And if you do not know yet, this is not a leak. This is a publicly available information. Down Deep, the game I spent 2 hours beating my head against last week, trying to do better than Even Wave, was developed by Warren.
Warren.
That's it. You might know Warren from Townstar, from his days at Gala, but before that, the man did a lot of incredible things. He worked on some incredible titles, and dubbed by the community, not just me, not just somebody on the internet, but the entire community, the entire Doom community calls Warren a legendary Doom mapper due to his contributions to the community and to the map creation and all of the cool things that go with Doom. So He already made one. He already made one game for the Value ecosystem. I have a feeling there's going to be another one, or maybe it's not a feeling. Maybe you should just go check out that episode of Game On. But anyway,
That is awesome. I love hearing news about Warren because I believe the man is also a legend. He is super, super cool, worked on super cool games, and I've been waiting to hear like what he's been working on. So this is great.
and I tell you what, where is okay? So I have this written down specifically. Let me just make sure this is the most recent draft I've pulled up. How many of you have water bots? Had water bots? See, I had one too. I bet Paul had one as well. Yep, that's Warren. But I wanted to talk about the other titles he's worked on previously, and my Google Chat. I mean, my Google Chat. My Google Docs are just refusing. Oh, there it is. So Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, Fortnite, We Happy Few, and honestly, you've seen the man do his work. And if you haven't seen the creative process, I remember a call I was on with him, and he was explaining the earlier iterations of Town Crush, and the essential idea was to take things that already exist in Townstar, the existing assets, and use them for the match 3 game. And he had a great laugh because the first iteration, the color the items were not color coded properly because they were pre-existing items, and it wasn't a great experience trying to match things that look almost exactly the same, sort of, kind of. But it made for a very challenging game. But after a few revamps, he managed to capture what's it like to play probably the most insane, absolutely unhinged match 3 game that ever existed, with only, like, I think, how many people beat it during the mayhem, Anita? I have a feeling
Oh my God,
probably
not a
like
whole lot. But honestly, your wife was the master of all of it. So there was no one with more experience than her. We were all like, girl, you're at what level?
yeah, pretty much.
How?
Match 3 games are deceptively easy, and don't write them off, man. They make a whole lot of money.
They're still just as fun, right? I mean, if you're bored and you just want to do something quick, you challenge your mind, just get on that, right? It's super fun.
See, that's sort of what's so appealing about the Value ecosystem and the games they have on right now, is the simplicity and just the overall feel of having a leaderboard, first of all, that updates instantaneously, that is daily, and also of all time, is of all time the words I'm looking for. Even way, please help. Anyway, the only thing that's missing from the experience is sticky floors and like smelly rooms, but
Uh,
I could live without those.
I don't think we need to add that in there. Let's
I s-
not.
Sticky floors are kind of cool though, so long as you're not touching them.
Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you about this. I was reading on the news somewhere where they actually wanted to introduce smells into games to see if it's going to enhance your experience with games. And I was like, smells? What do they mean by smells? And the first thing I thought of was like, I don't know, blood, puke, guts, and gore. And then I read further into the article and it's just like, oh, it's like burning rubber, like GTA stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, like what smells are going to enhance my gameplay, like what's happening there. Like I guess the world is so big that there's elements I didn't even think of. So good
No,
thing I'm not the one that's just like writing articles about this.
there are a few games where I definitely wouldn't want that type of feature, like any of the Silent Hill games. Probably not
You know what?
Doom.
That would actually be a really good one. I know it sounds horrible for Silent Hill, but that shit would be nuts. Could you imagine just like walking up and you get that smell of like rotting flesh? Oh, it would creep you out so bad. Like, do you run away or do you get closer to it? Like, oh, that's intense. Oh,
I think the trick is to get past the smell as soon as possible so your neighbors don't call the police.
So- Please play your video games in a well-ventilated area as it's like blasting into your ears and like calling the cops. They're like, we swear there's dead bodies around.
Yep.
And you're like, no, I just wanted immersive gameplay. Immersive gameplay.
Yeah, that's all I wanted. I really wanted to get shot and have my blood spill everywhere because otherwise, like, what am I even doing here? All right,
What's that
so
going to be called? 5D. Don't worry, you'll
guess,
set up the fans and shit too with your like 3D goggles and all of that.
or
You're
would
gonna
it
look
be
hella
better if you
crazy
had
if
like
your
nose
door ever gets
plugs?
kicked in.
Okie doke. So we are starting to branch into something new here because we do want to start talking about things happening all over Web3, not just necessarily LFG. And we're starting things a little easier. We didn't want to start dumping information people are not necessarily in touch with. So we wanted to talk a little bit about Uniswap and their Unichain. I know I've already touched on this, but Unichain is a layer 2 network built on Optimism's OP stack, offering faster, cheaper transactions compared to Ethereum's mainnet. And Unichain has been optimized for decentralized DeFi, aiming to serve as the home for liquidity across all chains. And reportedly, from what I understand, not very much verified sources, approximately 20% of the chain's revenue will go directly to Uniswap. So it's going to be a great source of revenue for them, allowing them to build a whole lot more things, a whole lot more cool things, a lot more L2s. Y'all heard Jason. We need as many as we can get for as many things as we need. And their approach is more or less what we talked about. They think the future is behind a plethora of different blockchains. The entire space seems to be pivoting away from lumping everything into one spot, which
That's smart.
makes
I believe that's
sense.
smart.
See, like, my only gripe with that is it makes sense because let's say, what's a big company I could talk about that use a lot of databases, like Costco for internal operations. I could see it. I could definitely see it. They don't need it as bad as someone like, oh, hi YouTube. You could use some decentralization. I have a feeling you're not too happy about fees you're paying to Amazon. But the point is, the more of these chains that there are in existence that you more or less have to interact with, whether it is by will or by force, whenever you have to do something you don't necessarily want to do, like interacting with weird government websites that are more difficult to log into than like walking to the fucking Pentagon. So that's sort of my gripe with it. Because yeah, there will be, if there are too many of them, it will be difficult to navigate, and blockchain hasn't had a great track record of user experience, I'm going to say, because like one of you, or maybe there's like more than one of you, keep sending their seed phrase into the comments of like almost every video.
Stop doing that shit.
Like, we know where you're doing that, and if you see those seed phrases, please don't plug them into your MetaMask. If you want to do something stupid, set up a dedicated environment before you do anything. But Uniswap seems to have their heart in the right place, and so long as we follow the natural progression of things, we're going to see a lot of these chains start and end, and in the end of the day, the strongest will survive. And eventually, my hope is that they will figure out interoperability where I will not have to be switching my MetaMask from network to network, and just because right now for me the easiest way to get cryptocurrency on a chain that I don't have any currency on is just pay fiat for it, and that seems a little confused, don't you think?
Well, honestly, I hope onboarding anything Web3 gets easier, because that is, again, one of the issues that a lot of people are having. Like, you get lost and then you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do next. So what I'm finding is a lot of onboarding is getting a lot easier. So hopefully it'll be easier for everyone to, get used to, because Web3 people, it's the future and it's coming in fast. So the easier it is for everyone to onboard to anything, the faster it actually comes through. So Let's get on it. Let's make shit easy. I
Yeah,
like it.
absolutely. And I can already see that, like, 100% guarantees there will be studies on how this entire thing panned out in the end of the day, and why things worked out the way they did. Because honestly, the entire space is experimenting, trying to see what will work and what
Mhm.
will not work, and everything that is we do, because we've seen the most complex onboarding processes, the most standard stuff with 12 written words. We've also seen people being thrown into the product or service with zero onboarding, which has its benefits, and seemingly that would be the best thing to do, but apparently not. So stay with us, hang out, see all the crazy things that we're working on, that other people are working on, because this is the only place where you can hear things like weed on blockchain and actually make sense of it, because there's also much more to the things that we're talking about. And if you have any interest in either, where should they go, where should they ask?
I'm really sorry I couldn't hear you. Like my speaker is so
yeah,
low,
yeah,
so I'm like
just
trying
how
to pay
much sleep did you
attention.
get last night?
All right, let's be honest. We're looking about like 4 hours, if even.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'll let that slide.
Like I literally rolled out of bed and I'm like, I need to wake up and I need to be here. And by the time I opened my windows, the sun was not even up yet. So like I'm barely
Yeah.
there. I have like half a cup of coffee. It's already cold, but like I'm awake. I'm here. Y'all, I'm here. I don't even have like the right words to speak correctly right now.
No.
But I
I
am
mean,
excited
maybe.
to see everything come through, right? Like Web3 is that's our future and it's coming in quick. So let's make shit easy for everyone, so that we can all on board and see what the future looks like with great technology, right? And also, it just needs to improve. I want to see it get into a lot more avenues into, I guess, daily life, you know? And I think it'll be beneficial. It's going to be life changing.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you know? And I just learned about this recently. Um, in addition to the blockchain that we know about right now, and in layman's terms, it is a chain of packets of data that are verified in a linear way, meaning one after another, after another, after another. Which is
Hmm.
why the transaction times, transaction fees, etc., etc. So there's blockchain, and there's also block DAG, DAG, and the idea is there, instead of having the packets connected linearly, is to connect them sort of like a graph, which would increase the throughput for transactions, meaning a lot more transactions per second, lower fees, and just a whole lot more benefit. But the technology is a lot younger than blockchain, so who knows where that's
Sounds like
going,
it's
who
going to be
knows how
more
that
efficient
works.
then. Like, I like efficiency.
I like efficiency too, but I feel like um, there's so much work had been put into blockchain the way it is right now, and they block DAG if they are on the right track of the people working and all the cool stuff. They have something to learn from, and they just might get a leg up on the competition. So who knows?
I like to see
Anyway,
things improve.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's usually the start. You see something do well, everyone else is going to follow. So like, let's do great shit and let the industry expand.
yeah, absolutely. Do something cool. Let us talk about it. Let us play reporter a little bit. But I think that's about all we have. Super happy we had Jason on. It's been a while. It's been
Yeah,
nine
it's been a
episodes.
hard thing to get him on, right? Like the schedules are so different. Like, oh my goodness, from around the world, like where we usually are in the North Americas, and then like where Jason is, like it's tough. Like, who wants to get up at 5 to do a stream? Like, do you guys even want to wake up at 5 to go to work? You know what I mean? Like,
No,
it's
I was
tough.
just
It's
yeah,
tough.
yeah. I was just talking about that with Evenwave, and we will be probably pushing these mission control streams just to make things easier on everyone, so nobody has to wake up at 5 in the morning to be on camera, because that sounds terrible. I haven't had to do that yet. Maybe I will, but we'll see.
Don't
I'm,
worry,
I'm
one of
not.
these days we'll get you at 5.
Listen, I'm not opposed to it. I feel like I look about the same whether it's 5 a.m. or like any other time in the day. But if
That's
you
the
want
perk
to
of being
learn,
a male. You guys
yeah,
can just roll out of bed and everything's cool.
yeah. See this hair? I just wash it with dish soap.
No, you can't do that. I'm
I don't
surprised your
know.
wife doesn't yell at you for it.
It seems to work all right. Okay, so we're running up on time, on things to talk about. As always, folks, a lot of things are in flight. We managed to squeeze a little something from Jason about the self-service platform. I was honestly hoping he'd tell us a little more, but we got just enough to keep going, to keep digging.
If it's
So I'm
not
gonna
ready to be shared, it's not ready to be shared, right? We can't give more. But, I'm always down for the leaks. If there's leaks, give it to us as much as we can get.
yeah, love leaks. But that does give us ground to push a little harder, to demand things. Maybe we'll get more information on the next one. And Anita, where should people go if they want to learn more about things we do, about the projects we've partnered with?
Go to our website. I believe go through our Discord. We have all of the projects, all of the everything's there. Our Discord, like all the chats, join all of them. You got questions, jump in Discord. It's very active, right? If you have any, I don't know, questions in the middle of the night, people are on there all hours, okay? And like if we are not covering you guys in the North Americas, Jason's got you. Get the hell into our Discord, ask all of the questions. If ever you have a question, no matter how stupid, ideally not stupid, we might not answer depending on how dumb, but like for the most
I
part,
mean,
we're there. We're there for the questions, you know what I mean?
no,
Get
I
into
like
our
stupid
Discord, all the
questions.
links, description box below. Okay.
Yep.
So get in there, follow all of the things, get onto X, follow all of the things, follow us everywhere in our socials.
That's it.
Description box below.
Okie dokie.
All right. And before we leave you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that damn notification bell, y'all, because if you want to hear what's going on and keep up to date, that's what you got to do. If not, you're going to miss out. And then you're going to be like, oh my God, well, I didn't know. And we're going to be like, we did tell you. Don't say we didn't. And don't be mad at us because we did tell you.
There. Be there or be square.
Correct.
That's it. Thank you so much, folks. It's been great chatting with you. As always, we'll see you next week. We'll see you this Friday. We'll see you whenever.
That's right. Bye.